Hey guys, the Infinite Jukebox here with another quick album review, and today I wanted to talk about the new Jethro Tull record, RokFlöte. In 2022, I did the absolute unthinkable when reviewing Jethro Tull's then new The Zealot Gene. I referred to that album as a variety of things, such as listenable and pretty decent, among other lukewarm yet nonetheless fairly positive descriptors, generally speaking, with a firm 3 out of 5 star rating. Something that was exceptionally high in the grand scheme of legacy progressive rock acts like Jethro Tull. They kind of proved to me that they were still capable of making good music, unlike the vast majority of classic prog bands otherwise, like, say, Yes, or Kansas, or, well, the list goes on. Brilliant, Gentle Giant, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Pavlov's Dog, and also Dream Theater, the Mars Volta, Coheed and Cambria. Look, the point is that most prog bands that have been around for 15 to 20 years or more at this point have gotten pretty bad over time, and considering Jethro Tull have been around for much longer than 20 years, I wasn't expecting a lot, and the Zealot Gene was pretty decent, which is why I was hoping that the follow-up to that record, RokFlöte, which is also the shortest amount of time we've seen between Jethro Tull albums since the 70s, would be decent. It's not. I mean, really, RokFlöte may as well have been just a slap in the face with an iron glove for daring to suggest that a classic prog band like Tull could still be good in the modern day, as this is somehow one of their worst records, which is saying something considering, despite their greatness, they've put out some pretty big flops in the past. Nothing about this feels like a real Jethro Tull record. It's so uninspired and predictable. It sounds like an AI-generated version of a classic Jethro Tull album. It's just so robotic and plain and flavorless. It sounds like the soundtrack to a mildly unenjoyable but not entirely terrible Dungeons & Dragons campaign. Ian Anderson, the frontman and leader of the Jethro Tull project, sounds bored of his own work, which means that any charisma he could deliver as a vocalist to make up for lackluster instrumentation simply just does not exist. The worst part about RokFlöte, however, as a record, is the fact that it wastes a genuinely good idea. The album started out as a series of Norse-influenced instrumentals based around Norse mythology, to be exact, before eventually evolving into lyrics, and then a full album, and then eventually what the final product we are presented here with is. And to see Jethro Tull experiment with new lyrical topics relating to Norse mythology, which the vast majority of the record is based around, is genuinely exciting, which is why it's a shame that these lyrics, which are admittedly somewhat weak at times, are paired with such boring and phoned-in performances, along with a general vibe that just feels like it isn't really Jethro Tull being Jethro Tull, as if it's some sort of weak Jethro Tull tribute act that happens to do Norse mythology instead. RokFlöte didn't need to be any sort of masterpiece. I was never expecting it to be anything like that, but it should have been at least decent after the Zealot Gene showed that Tull still had some strength in them, or at the very least the fact that the aforementioned record impressed with its lack of weakness, something that is found here in spades. Unfortunately, the best way that I can describe this record is that RokFlöte sounds like somebody who despises progressive rock's take on what the average Jethro Tull record should sound like. I'm going to give this record 1.5 stars out of 5. And with that being said, that is the end of this quick album review. I've been Zane from the Infinite Jukebox. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.